Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to The Hole in the World, an actual play of the Invisible Sun RPG by Monte Cook Games. I am, as always, once again, your host, your GM, your producer, Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino, and I am joined once again by a lovely, wonderful cast. If they wouldn't mind introducing themselves, starting with Marcy.
Hello, I have to find my unmute button. But I'm still Marcy, aka Experimental Madness, back once again to play Gabrielle, oh my god, it's finally happened, folks. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Oh no!
The iconoclastic art and apostate who hosts a choir.
Yes, there we go. You got it. Done.
National holiday.
6 weeks of winter.
Woo!
Moving down the overlay, Bill, if you want to start us up. Second up, there we go.
No problem. I'm Bill. I got that much down pat, and I'm playing Maurice Mo Webb, a stalwart empath of the Order of Weavers who turns tales into reality.
Does that mean that Zero's is Mo's Tavern?
That's it.
Moving over to the right side of the overlay, Hopper, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Hopper. Did you want more? I believe this week, I will be playing Twig, a mendicant gallant apostate who heralds beginnings. But we'll see where the wind takes me.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Oh, there we go. Fixed it. I just changed the overlay to have Twig's name up.
I feel so fancy.
And finally, last but certainly not least, Marissa.
Hey folks, I'm Marissa. I use she, her pronouns. I go by Critical Kitten most places on the internet because I am a critical kitten. Go figure. I do editorial things and books, games, whatever you like. And I play Curiel von Hollingsworth, who is the first assistant librarian of the Order of the Vance. She is an aromatic stoic who understands the words, guardian of Zaleska's grimoire, who we haven't seen in a minute now that I think about it, curator of King Nine's library, maven of mirrors, mistress of monikers, and apparently some sort of creation of the current of magic, maybe. Play to find out.
I love it. Amazing. So without further ado, we're going to get started. But before we do that, I have to do the time-honored tradition and start back up with our original theme music. So, when last we left our vislae, after a harrowing journey, they had emerged from the darkest house. Together they fought the specter of the Forsaken Battle Mage, a nigh unstoppable magical soldier made from the husk of an apostate comrade, Veroth. It was only upon fighting him that Maurice, Gav, and Okris were able to realize that their shared knowledge of the vislae had been devoured by the dark. They struggled to keep him at bay after he had dispelled Kiri von Hollingsworth and sent her into the stomach of the darkest house. It was in that abattoir that Kiri found herself faced with the manifestations of a dire family that mocked her existence as a living spell while trying to devour her very essence. While Maurice found a path to the enemy of light and the near catatonic Allegra von Hollingsworth, Okris and Gabrielle kept Veroth at bay, and Kiri found a way to let the current of magic back into the darkest house, buying the vislae the time they needed to escape with the help of the mysterious curator and the seed of truth of unimpeachable words that had been pulled out of a shelf by Maurice Webb. We now find our vislae outside the entrance of the Docker's house, with Allegra in tow. And to that effect, I'm going to change the music. So, it has been a harrowing escape from that horrible place. All of you are exhausted, no doubt. Tapped your resources. All of you having in tow Allegra, who herself looks as though she's aged years in the time that apparently she left to go to the darkest house to attempt to find the seed of truth. With the slam of the door behind you, you find yourselves outside the front of the darkest house, back in the accidental space within this large kind of cloistered, almost like campus-like structure, where previously you had encountered dozens, if not hundreds, of the Shederinis, people that had been warped and trapped by the magic of the accidental space. How's everybody doing?
I think Maurice is physically at least unscathed and is, I think, checking to his companions who's bleeding.
Gab is also physically okay, more or less, but just looks completely drained.
To that effect, actually, before everybody else checks in, who among the party has taken a doom? And have you taken one or have you taken two?
I have one.
Okay. All right. Kiri, are you the only person that hasn't taken a doom, or have you?
I have not. I have an injury and a wound, but not a doom.
Okay. All right.
I'm not actually sure how many I have. I think I had one.
Yeah, I think everybody either racked up one or two, which is good, because if you had gotten to three, things would have been very weird. Very weird. But once you get past like 5 or 6, things get dire. So yeah, 1 or 2 is good? Question mark.
Good question mark.
Okay.
But Okris and Kiri, how are you guys? I was gonna say, Kiri, you said you've taken some wounds and injuries.
Yes. So Kiri, it looks like, has basically one of everything. One injury, one wound, one anguish.
Mm-hmm.
Partially from that big mage creature.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the mechanics for getting rid of wounds and anguish?
So
Is it just a rest?
I think it's a rest can patch one at a time. If you manage to restore all of your rests, I believe it also kind of restores everything.
And if you just have damage but didn't take a wound, or the rest should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of your shorter action rests can do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. How's Okris holding up?
Okris has 1 anguish.
Okay.
I blew through basically every pool I had, except for accuracy.
And so until those are healed, you guys have scourges in your relative pools. Maurice will kind of quickly take Kiri's hands and say, kind of, hold her by the 2 wrists and flip them over and say, "Well, you don't look so bad. Welcome back." And he'll clear your injury with a very cheaply cast spell.
I think as that happens, it's almost as though it's like, the pain of the injury was just kind of the thing holding Kiri up at this point. And she sort of sinks or sags a little bit into, I don't know, she just kind of collapses a little towards the ground. Not in a dramatic way, but in a wow, that ground is coming up close now.
Yeah, he kind of lowers her down as he's holding her by the hands gently under your butt. And I think turns and looks at Allegra. Says, "Welcome back to you as well."
Thank you. And she, I think, regards you a little bit suspiciously. There's 1,000-mile stare there that I think she kind of just has to awaken from briefly as she looks at you. That said, because you cast a small spell in order to heal Kiri, we're going to draw another a card on the Path of
Yeah, let's
Suns.
go.
Oh, the cards are back.
The cards are back. This one, I think it might be a replay. Yeah, no, this is the Savage Sword. Meanings: war, savagery, strength, violence, and brute force. The sword, a metaphor for any kind of weapon one might wield. The Savage Sword is our basest nature, our predilection towards violence, and our shameful bloodlust, but is also our strength to overcome obstacles and foes when we need to. It is the opposite of thought, strategy, or consideration. It is immediate and decisive, without hesitation or regard for consequence. Some kind of conflict is imminent. Almost certainly blood will be shed, but this can go either way. It might be a danger to the person in question, or it might be a recommendation that they must use violence or brute force to succeed. This card turn can also indicate strength, or even a specific individual who is known for their physical prowess. There was nothing that could stand before him when the Savage Sword was drawn.
So Zachary.
Yes?
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You made us do a little homework. And having us pick cards on the sooth deck that represent our characters. And you just drew Gavs.
I love that. So the thing is that as Allegra looks at you, I think that her eyebrow quirks, and under the pressure of your hand, Maurice, you sense a almost like kind of like a quick bit of like a surge of heat from Kiri's hands, or from just the contact of her skin. And not only that, but you feel kind of like a slight invigoration, almost like it's kind of crazy. It's like a sympathetic galvanization of your own feelings, as there is something that has quirked in the current of magic, which Kiri, you feel, and you feel that something has transpired, and you watch as some sort of force kind of animates Gavriel. Gavriel, you feel a surge of something, as though there is just, the best way to kind of describe it, I would say, is though it's as if you suddenly felt a ray of sunlight that invigorated you, as some sort of kind of power of the current of magic buoys and kind of energizes you. What does that look like in this moment?
I think naturally it's, everyone can kind of see her halos suddenly, like it's always rotating at kind of a steady pace, dare I say with like the tempo of an average heartbeat, but now suddenly it's like vroom, 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 vroom. Like it's getting hard to actually see it now. It just kind of looks like a blur of silver whirring inside of her. And I don't know, I don't think that she can quite, like, she puts a hand over it. However, you can always see it even through whenever she touches her chest. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure she knows, like, it doesn't feel bad. Like, she doesn't feel like she's going to collapse or anything like that. It's just a startling, like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah. And I think exactly, I think Allegra looks at this and sees kind of this chain of reactions, and you feel it sympathetically as well, Okris. And the question is, at what point, like, how does this kind of manifest in each of you as you kind of feel the radiating out of this power?
I think Okris does not actually show any outward signs or emotions of feeling this. They seem to be very distracted by something else.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think, Kiri, if I could approximate how this might, like what this would be like a physical stimuli, imagine if you suddenly had an apparatus within yourself, like the way that birds can tell magnetic north, Imagine it like that. There is a whole sensation that you feel for the first time. I think Allegra kind of taking all of this in. So that's it then. All of you have the seats.
Do.
Well, at least one thing has gone right. And I think she just kind of walks. I think what she does actually before kind of sitting down, she says, "Can we get as far away from this place as possible?"
Pleasure.
She just doesn't wait. When you say that, she doesn't wait. She just starts taking off. She starts walking towards the edge of whatever this place is.
Sorry, I'm just checking something that I have. I think I can get it.
Maurice is kind of visually checking in with everybody. Like, we good?
Wouldn't we rather simply not be here anymore? Back to Citrain?
That's a good question. Allegra, where are you going?
I think she turns and she says, "We need to find someplace defensible. I need to rest. I cannot go back in this state." You see that, she's kind of compulsively pulling a hand, almost kind of obsessively kind of grooming the white streak in her hair.
I can take us back to Citrain. You don't need to do anything, and we could rest there.
I don't know what we're going to see when we get there. I don't know how bad things are going to be. If we're going to, we need to prepare ourselves. We need to prepare a strategy.
Allegra, I can take us anywhere. It doesn't have to be the Indigo. Pick a sun.
I would be happy to just not be on the same side of this one.
All right.
We could go to my mom's. Go to the blue.
We could go to the blue. Yeah, I can. I've never done this before, but I could give it a shot.
Where better to rest than the place of dreams?
Well, while I can take us to the blue, I can't take us anywhere directly in the blue. So I hope you know where you're going once we get there.
Not really.
And she
Well...
she looks at all of you and says, "Well, I know the way to the court of Nous if we are prepared to go there. I'm happy to be a guide."
I'd rather be anywhere but here. The longer we stay here, I think the worse it's going to be. And I will cast Colored War.
Describe what this looks like.
I have never tried to path walk before, and here we go. I'm literally drawing upon the path of suns from within my own soul, and I think you just see, oh, you know what? I actually think like I pull one of the multicolored feathers from my hair and sort of like spin it about in just bright blue, like a blue macaw's feathers, and I sort of rub it between my hands. And when I release it, this spontaneous blue energy alights in the shape that I'm casting my hands outwards. And you see this rounded door form from my motions.
Ooh.
Bright, gaudy blue as I'm doing it. Maybe I could make it look better if I keep trying, but you know what? I understood the assignment as blue, and that's what it is. As the spell sort of leaves my hand, this now very tangible blue door is before us. All right.
Amazing. Yeah, I think...
So what you're saying is you blew yourself?
Blew myself early.
I think she blew all of us.
Yeah, the door manifests as you describe it, and you realize, I think, that this is a way for you to finally escape this nightmare. And as you open the door, you feel dozens of eyes staring at you. As if any of you look back, you see all of the kind of bird, quadrupedal, mutated figures, the beaks, and the white, perfect eyes of the Shadarinis staring back at you, watching as you leave.
I open the door.
Okay.
And I sort of gesture for, I think, you, Maurice, and Allegra. Like, I hope it's not too far away from something familiar.
And as you walk through the door, a couple of things happen. Which is, one of the first things is that you all feel the sensation of falling. Less falling and more floating. And this is, you realize, a sensation that all but you, Okris, have experienced, as this was how you arrived in the blue in the first episode of our game. And you realize that familiar feeling extends beyond just that sensation, but also you realize that you are in the deeps of sleep. As all of these kind of manifestations of your dreams and of dream figments kind of fly past you in this expansive landscape that is more than just, that is less of a, like, it points, it feels more like a painting that you are watching change, that is flat, and then it becomes super real and surreal and fully rendered, and then it becomes walkable landscape as you find your feet finding purchase on no place at all. And floating in front of you, some distance away, once again you see a towering figure that almost seems to wear a crown upon her sleeping head, as cosmos seem to manifest and revolve around her head. At the same time that she is visible to you and monolithic, at the same time she feels as though she has surrounded all of you and is immense beyond your recognition. Mara, the reclining god, regards you with sleeping eyes. You have returned to my realm. Greetings.
Mara, we seek asylum and shelter. We will not stay long.
And you shall have that. I have been waiting for your return for some time, my godson. And she nods, and as though the landscape seems to form around you, you see almost like a path of stepping stones form, and ruins almost akin to like the Parthenon, or these kind of half-formed monolithic structures seem to form around you, forming a landscape through which you may walk, almost like the ruins of some grand garden. And as you follow the path, if you so choose, Mara seems to loom above you. What do all of you do?
Hey, Maurice.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okris is trying to surreptitiously smell Allegra, specifically using the spell Scent of Magic.
Okay.
Like that makes it any better.
I had to say it the worst way possible first, and then explain that there's an actual mechanical function there. I'm not just being weird.
Okay. I will go ahead and
I'm using my Hannibal Lecter ability.
as you kind of sniff, what are you looking for?
I think Okris is trying to determine whether Allegra is what she seems to be, or is what she thought she was, or is what the house thought she was, and if she seems to be the creature that they knew so long ago.
So first, a couple of things that you get, which is one, you definitely have that underlying scent that you recognize that is unique to Allegra. If anything, Marissa, what would Allegra's magic smell like in this case? Like, is there a scent or a power that comes off of it?
You're muted.
Oh.
If anything, I think it's probably pretty acrid. So like quite sharp and biting. Like it might, it's like a thorn on a plant. Like it's a smell that when perceived is meant to attack you. It's defensive almost, because Allegra is all about that sort of activity, like people trying to perceive things about her or try to find weaknesses. It's meant to kind of hit back. So like even the scent of her magic, I would imagine, is pretty like aggressive.
Absolutely. But one thing, and you're once again taken aback by it, but at the same time you recognize it very clearly. However, suffused over this, and clinging in various degrees to each one of you, is the soft smell of rot. No more so attached to Allegra than anybody else. There is something that seems to be following each of you, attached to you, a scent of dark that you realize that has some sort of facet to it. For you and for the rest of your companions who you know, all of that rot is almost light and pungent. It's not nearly as repressive as the scent that you come away with from Allegra. Something is clinging to her. It's almost like, I think the closest approximation is like a gangrenous limb.
I'm trying to see if there's anything I can do useful here. I don't think there is. There's something so interesting about your description about the way the vestigial, like, what? I don't like it. Thanks, Zach. That was horrible.
I'd do my best.
So focusing in, so specifically scent of magic, is this a magical effect that I'm smelling?
It's like a haunting.
Great. So specifically, I'm going to read Scent of Magic, which is, for a moment, I gain the ability to sense magic by its unmistakable and unique odor. Not only can I sense the presence of active magic near me, but if I use an action to examine a specific magical effect or item, I can also identify it. And my body, I guess, technically, has perfect recall.
Okay.
Does this rot smell familiar?
It is a slightly, imagine the entire environment of the darkest house concentrated into a much smaller area. And that is what is clinging to all of you in a lesser degree than it's clinging to Allegra.
Oh, so it's just like ass couch stank, but it's like the nightmare house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Does it seem threatening?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Threatening couch stank. I think Okris just kind of looks around at the others. We are trailing the scents of the place that we just came from. And that is a cause for concern.
Could we be contagious?
I'm not the doctor.
Mara, hold on. We might need a quarantine procedure.
As you say that, she regards you. Yes, the stuff of nightmares clings to all of you. But this is my domain, and nightmares have no purchase whilst I reign over it in my dominion.
That's reassuring. Maurice gestures towards the cobblestones, says, I think I know where these are going. Follow me.
Right. I'm glad I didn't entirely lead us off course.
And I think Allegra kind of brings up the rear in this case and follows you. And as you guys are making your way, time seems to dilate and to, in odd places, stretch and to shorten. Places, distances, landmarks that seem further than they are, you arrive sooner than you would expect. A stone column, a sundial in this constructed garden, you arrive at it within seconds, whereas distant places or very close places, you seem to kind of move at a snail's pace. Are you guys discussing anything on this journey?
I think Maurice is kind of occupied with keeping his eyes open for anything that looks like it would be familiar. He's looking for anything that looks like his old home or the menagerie where he last saw Legend. So I think he's focused with being a good scout leader here.
Excellent. I'm going to turn a card in that case. But while I do that, what is everybody else doing?
I feel like Gav is just sort of, her gaze is wavering between Kiri and Allegra, like both the resemblance and just like she can kind of sense that there's something off about it, but can't quite figure out what it is.
I think that in this case, I think that your suspicious, or you're not your suspicions, but your kind of observations are kind of rewarded with Allegra stealing occasional glances at Kiri. Kiri, what are you doing as you kind of close ranks with everybody else?
Yeah, I like to think that maybe like Kiri and Allegra are kind of trading glances at each other, but like never actually looking at the same time. I think there's sort of an unsettled feeling to Kiri, as though, you know, they've just emerged from this place that clearly like had an agenda and was like constantly fucking with them and would say whatever it needed to say, or, you know, create what sort of elaborate constructions, fantasies, fictions, lies that it had to get what it fundamentally wanted. And I mean, Curie saw that. She was there in the belly of the beast with the proverbial anglerfish, looking at the lore. But I think there's sort of something about Allegra being here where there's almost a dissonance between what she just sort of experienced, what the house told her about who she is, who she was, how she came to be, and then also like just the reality of the fact she was able to sort of pull or relate even to the current of magic the way that she did and what that could mean. And so I think Curie is sort of trying to reconcile fact with fiction in some respect.
As you consider this, you realize that Curie that Allegra is glancing at you occasionally, almost like stealing looks. And the thought comes, I think, unbidden. I think with your knowledge of Allegra and with your knowledge of her interests, you realize that one of her hands has grasped her grimoire and has tucked it under her arm. And the way she is regarding you is the way in which a craftsman or an artist might regard their own handiwork.
I think she'll call it out. Do I have something on my face?
No, you do not.
Then why are you looking at me like that?
It's strange with the seeds being what they are, with the influence of the house ended, being able to see with so much clarity.
Clarity. I don't think anything's clear. What is it that's so clear to you?
When last I saw you at the Vancian campus, I thought how lost I was without a shred of my history, without my spell book, and yet here we are. And she seems to pat the grimoire under her shoulder. It's
wow.
It is what it is. An extreme measure. One I felt the need to take.
What measure?
To safeguard knowledge. I would half expect that you would understand that all too well, that instinct.
Of course. I'm a librarian. That's what we do. But you've never been one.
No.
You use knowledge. You copyright it. You contain it.
Yes, but to, I believe, a very justifiable end.
Which is?
The safeguarding of the propagation of more knowledge, more opportunities, more to learn, to grow, and to excel. There's not much of that happening, I think, not under the thumb of the Vespertine, you'll agree.
And so your answer is to what? Call upon some dark god from a different dimension? You think that's going to end well?
If only to understand what we're up against, yes. I knew that if I had the right means, I could yoke it to my will.
See, that's your problem. You're always too much like father. He bit off more than he could chew.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. Do you think that the court of Noas arrived in a vacuum?
I wouldn't be surprised to learn there was some puppeteering.
Who do you think has taken the role of Count Solemn? Who do you think has actually created the court?
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Oh, yes. Our father has created the Court of Noas. Well, my father.
Our father.
And she kind of like turns to look at you with a terse set of pursed lips.
He's my father too. Just because you're here doesn't overwrite my parentage.
Of course.
So to what end? What does he want with them? For that matter, what are you doing here? What do you want beyond, I don't know, trying to apotheose into some kind of god?
I was attempting to safeguard the seed, as per the request of Mr. Monmelis.
Well, congratulations. We have the seeds. You can go now, back to your life.
There's not much of one left now that I know what actually has transpired. This was my life. And she kind of gestures at you. And there's a moment where she regards there was somebody else. Not just Feroth, but somebody, even though I can barely remember his face. I have nothing left to go back to. Our father is not even corporeal anymore. A pure manifestation of information. He finally got what he wanted, and I thought that's what I wanted as well.
Did he refuse to make you what he is?
He wanted a measure of my value and worth as part of my initiation. Suffice to say, I was hoping that in the darkest house, I could kill two birds with one stone.
Ah, so you're worried that without us, there's nothing with which you can impress Daddy.
She, like, her eyes narrow. And what would you do in my stead? You have a seed. I'm sure he would be happy to induct you, being a living spell as well. I imagine you'd be quite the find for him.
What are you going on about? Sure, there's some weird stuff happening with the current of magic, but surely you don't believe what the house is saying. Has it really addled your mind?
Oh, it has certainly addled my mind. Absolutely. It addled my mind to create this, and she flips open a page from her grimoire. And you recognize your name. Not Curiel, your real name. Instinctually, you understand what the mathematical formula actually signifies. It is a feeling of unbidden recognition.
What is that?
Well, the formulae, the diagramming. I have to admit it was a little bit of an epiphany when I was transcribing it, so my penmanship may not be as sturdy and as, well, let's just say more as organized as I would have preferred it to be.
That's impossible. It can't be. That's not me. I'm not a thing. I'm not a series of equations. I'm a person. I'm your sister. How you've taken it too far, Allegra.
Well, whatever you are, whatever you were, you're something more now. You've eclipsed even my wildest ambitions.
So what, you're saying you created me, that I'm just some sort of manifestation of your design or your intent or your creation, that I'm some sort of thing that you made?
Maurice looks back, pained that he's overheard all of this, and says, "The actuality is a spell."
Yes.
You're not less real than anything. You might be more real than anything, frankly. Was Basil Victorum worth less of your consideration or respect?
Maurice, he was fiction. He was a
To
story.
life.
I'm flesh and blood. I'm a person.
And I love you as a person.
I'm not just magic. I'm not just star stuff.
Just. Kirill von Hollingsworth describing a spell as just. Do you hear yourself?
Of memories. I was born. I wasn't made.
You're all that and more.
And we all have memories of the Grey, don't we?
So do I. What's more is, how is that true? If I had a life in the Grey, I have memories of her and my parents. And are you telling me all of that was, what, made up?
Don't you have a seed of inner truth?
Or the Spider Prince literally wrote that for you.
It's never said much. I don't know, the house said something about, and I think she casts a glance at Allegra at this point. The house said something about Arwen, and from the war report, she did something, but it wasn't true. It was trying to hurt me.
Do you think that Twig is less of a person than you?
Twig is also real, and flesh and blood. Oh, Chris, you know that.
Is it? Am I? This is not our form. This is our prison. We were created.
By whom?
By your employer.
So what, you two are some sort of scientific experiment?
In the
No.
way we all are.
Personally, I'm going to treat a scientific experiment with the respect and dignity they deserve. Twig, maybe half as much, but Ochre's for sure.
There is
I kind of like flick the halo in my chest and ask, is Kiri von Hollingsworth alive? And I'm asking my seed of objective truth.
You see splayed out in your mind's eye all of the scholarly work and documentation that she has produced, the accolades that she has won as a member of her order, as a member of her individual institute. You see notes about the function of the Metal X engine. You see notes of commendations, and you see test results on Vancian examinations. One for her admission, one for her latest degree kind of advancement, testing and aptitude. And if she is not real, if she is not a person, it is very hard to tell that from what you see splayed out in front of you.
Just say yes.
So yes.
It's objective, so can't argue with that.
And there's something about Allegra watching and hearing all of this that softens, and she gestures to the harness that I think you probably haven't had the opportunity to strap back on the book holster for Zaleska's grimoire. And she says, "You haven't been able to open that yet, have you?"
Carrie shakes her head.
"May I?" And she holds a hand up.
It's not for you. Zaleska didn't want.
And she says, "It may not be for me, but I figured out how to unlock it a very long time ago." Where do you think I got the inspiration?
I think Carrie passes it over.
And she feels the weight of the grimoire on her palm. And you hear the voice of the grimoire speak to you. "Wait, this is not, but it's familiar, this feeling." And Allegra says, "Yes, it's me, again." And you watch as she speaks something, an incantation, and each of her fingers, at the end of each of them, forms a key. And she begins one by one inserting each of the fingers into the locked locks of the grimoire. And then she takes her hand back out, closes her fist, and there are 5 more keys, or 4, 3 of which have already been used. But she takes the 2 remaining, and she unlocks the last locks of the grimoire. And she passes it back. "Perhaps you will find more of what you seek in there."
And Carrie just stares at the cover of this grimoire, like very much 1,000-yard stare. And I think softly, very much not looking up. What am I going to find?
You're going to find the imperfect notes of an imperfect woman mixed with sheer exultant triumph. What you would find in any journal of a master.
All I want to find is a place for us to sit down and continue this conversation.
And as if timed to this sentiment, the dream seems to pull you into a magnificent estate. Tell me more about it.
This is, if you've seen the latest Nosferatu, it is like that horrific broken down estate, but like 50% nicer, right? Like it's like less spooky. Like
It's what I've always wanted.
It's the starting image, right? But then like spruce it up a bit in your mind. It's a little bit not quite so foreboding. It's just like, wow, they really let this place go, huh? And Maurice is like, all right. He pushes open the doors and he's like, it's been a minute. And he kind of wanders off into the darkness of the house, but then all of a sudden you see little wall lamps start to light up with little finger flames as he goes through.
And absolutely, you notice that there is just, I think the thing that strikes you immediately is, I think for a lot of everyone else, it's foreboding, this strange place, but it seems to kind of welcome you in. But Maurice, there's one thing that you notice as this place animates to meet you, which is there's no dust anywhere on any of the furnishings. It looks like this place has been occupied recently.
Maurice is maybe opening doors expectantly, looking for people that are here or were here. Maybe a little bit more cautious than optimistic, but still hunting down for a kettle of tea to put on.
As you enter into the kitchen, describe it for me.
This is a huge open space. Like you could cook for an army in here. There's a giant marble island with a ton of stools around. And Maurice finds some sort of candelabra and finds two of them and sets them out, clutching on one end and on the other end, and then just starts rummaging in a pantry. Finds a kettle, puts some water on, and then starts rummaging and says, "Take a seat, take a seat, take a seat."
As you do that, you feel like there is something vast just beyond this room. You hear something very large become something much smaller very quickly. And entering through the room, you see your father staring back at you, wearing kind of a smoking jacket / robe kind of situation. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, I didn't expect anybody to become by here."
I didn't expect you here. Hi, hey, Dad. Do you mind? We've had a rough go of it.
Not at all. There is wafting off of this figure, which has 6 eyes, this humanoid figure that has 6 eyes above its regular set of eyes looking out from under a brow, as well as 4 arms underneath. This old kind of, on the late side of middle-aged man, who looks kind of debonair and silvered hair staring back at all of you. There is just an unmistakable, while you have the scent of magic up, Ogress, there is just godlike power behind this facade of what you see. And he regards us, "By all means, please make yourself at home. I seem to be interrupting something." And at which point, I think you hear Allegra say, "Oh no, there are 2 of you."
Zach, what do I see? If this is an illusion, I don't see that.
Something I can't really describe.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's...
So just the eldritch horrors are just laid bare before me.
Yeah, but I think the thing that that strikes you is that it is being very ginger with you. It's taking very dainty steps.
How many legs?
You know how many.
Okay, a secondary important question.
Number.
Pants or no pants? Based on that description.
Oh, I do need to know that, yeah. Are there pants?
Slippers in it?
Slippers and velvet pajamas.
But Gabrielle, you've seen everything.
And everything. Sometimes, you know what? Hey, sometimes you can't see too much.
Yeah.
Now's one of those times. I actually do think Cav's trying to put together the non-Euclidean whatever is happening. And it should be very obvious to your dad that I am not seeing whatever he thinks he's projecting.
At which point he just looks, I think, recognizes what's going on and says, "Oh, how unfortunate for you." and this true spider just looks back at all of you and, I have my snack, and what looks to the rest of you like a bowl of cereal is he holds aloft in this facade. Gabrielle, you don't want to know what it actually is.
Good.
But what if Hopper does?
Hopper doesn't get to find out.
Wow.
The stuff that dreams and nightmares are made of in the blue sun.
Maurice.
So like Eurythmics. Sweet dreams are made of these.
You know when you
Exactly.
startle like a cockatoo, how like their feathers just go. Yeah, and Gav cannot control that. It's an involuntary muscle. It's like, if we had tails, they would totally give us away. You could have the most stoic face ever, and like, it wouldn't matter. It's one of those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of you just are absorbing this. And not only that, I will say with the sensory apparatus that you now have, Curiel, almost radiating out from this figure. This figure is exerting a pull on the current, like a force of gravity, like a small gravity well within like the weave of magic. And it's kind of appropriate because the card that I drew back when you cast that spell, Maurice, was the Assassin. Basically the Adept of Mysteries. And that is kind of what this figure is. It brings things to an end, or it just represents just a whole other grim facet that I think is, inherent and inevitable in a creature like this. And he regards you in a kind of lackadaisical way, and saying that about a tree spider is saying something for sure.
Oh, and mechanically, everybody can add 2 points to their hidden knowledge right off the bat because you talked to a true spider.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maurice is still kind of fussing over getting everyone a cup of tea, but but his head is like still like staring at his dad the whole time. Like I can't believe you're here. And it's like, how have you come here often since Mom died?
Since the rebellion, I am no longer a king among true spiders.
The rebellion.
Well,
That was probably my fault.
I don't want to point legs at anybody, but yes, in a way. But it was inevitable. I was maintaining a very tenuous grasp. What do you do to try to assure that all of your semi-omniscient brothers, sisters, and children are, in point of fact, being safely governed? A show of force, a show of power. Ultimately, my defeat undermined that, but it was inevitably undermined by the fact that I needed to show one anyway.
Is there another king?
No, your grandmother has reasserted her dominance. She has become more hands-on, but a number of true spiders have disseminated across the actuality, and attempting to meet the true ants head-on. I wish them
Always an apocalypse that's looming.
Well, why else do you think we're unable to help? We always have our own battles to deal with, just in a much larger web than the one you're familiar with. I think that your good friend and mine, Rajothmos, are the exception to the rule. And yourself, for that matter.
Very kind of you to still count me among the true spiders. I am something else now.
Yes. You're more like your mother. I imagine with each passing day.
Maurice pours you all a cup. If you drink it, if you were feeling at all agitated, you are feeling a bit calmer upon drinking it. Maurice asks Parthos, what he knows about the Darkest House and this stench that has followed us from it.
And you see, he kind of looks at all of you, and he seems to trace something in the air, and almost as though playing an invisible bass string. Gabrielle, you see that there is a kind of gossamer thin web of magic that seems to radiate out in a radial pattern from him that he just touches, and you see a shimmer of vibration travel through it. And he thinks on your question and looks at all of you, all of his eyes opening and staring from one to the rest of you. Yes, you are tainted, all of you, by the darkness of that place. You will suffer nightmares, impairments in the land of dreams while you are outside of your godmother's care. But that, with time and perhaps healing, will pass. But her, and he looks at Allegra, who regards him back haughtily, you are haunted. You bear a scar of that place, and you will need to have it extricated from you, or you will waste away. And Kiri, your sister opens her mouth as if to protest or to disagree, and realizes she's talking to a true spider, and closes her protest.
Zach, will you permit me to pull a move?
Yeah, absolutely. What you got?
Would you say that this haunting, this scar, is a level 13 effect?
Absolutely.
Without quite realizing what's happening, from Maree's mouth and nostrils and eyes and ears, indigo light explodes, and in a reverberating voice, he said, Allegra no longer has this scar. And he has unwittingly invoked the power of the seed of truth of unimpeachable words, and has used an ability called Compel Truth. Once every 8 days, the user may speak a new truth into the actuality.
And when it manifests, this truth, first thing you see is your father, the facade form that he has taken, almost leaps back into the back wall of this kitchen, as if like Spider-Man style, attaching into a defensive position. I think just from that burst of power takes him by surprise. You see Gabrielle, a large animal backed into a corner, defensively reacting. And at the same time, I think all of you see this, and whatever that smell of rot you sensed, Okris, burns away and is replaced by the smell of ozone, as whatever it is has just been removed and burned and scrubbed out of the actuality.
Maurice like burps and farts a little bit as this stops. He goes, "What the hell was that?"
And
oh wow! I just like I wanted it. I wished that it weren't. I wished that she was okay, and then it happened.
She, I think that Allegra regards you, and there is just a weight that seems to fall off of her shoulders. The lines in her face don't appear quite as severe. While they are still there, nothing can really necessarily undo all of the marks of the Darkest House, but there is something that is just unburdened and pulled from around, that had a grip around her heart. And she looks at you and I think regards all of you. This is the power of the seeds. Now imagine what you can do now that you have all of them.
I think Kiri shoots her a look. That's your response? Not a thank you? No gratitude? Nothing?
I merely seeked to explicate the situation. I am grateful. I am.
Are you?
I am.
Because he didn't have to do that, you realize.
No, he didn't.
And it came from something in him, because he didn't even control it. He healed you, and you didn't even bat an eye. You just kept on going with how much power these seeds supposedly possess.
And she regards all of you. And the thing that strikes you is how begrudging. There is a look of gratitude in her face, Maurice, that you cannot mistake. But underneath that gratitude, and you see it as well, Kiri, is the resentment, that memory of Upper Taverswood that just seems to live within her. And I think she looks to all of you and says, Maurice, thank you. If it would be all right, would like to rest a while.
Please, Dad, is there a room ready for her?
And he regards you and says, oh, she has her pick, please. East wing, west wing, whichever you prefer. And he slowly backs from further down the wall until his feet touch the ground and resumes kind of standing amidst all of you. What do all of you do in this case? As if you permit her, Allegra will leave the room. If there's anything you want to say, you might want to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kiri will sort of call after her. Why didn't you tell me?
Until the seeds manifested, I didn't know. I didn't remember. When they did manifest, I think we all lost a bit of that time when we planned together and when Veroth and I went to the darkest house. Because Veroth was a part of those moments. The house ate them too.
So how long have you known?
Since you emerged from the war report.
And it took you this long?
When we reunited with Kieran, we made a plan. You went to the Silver Sun. I attempted to go to the darkest house with Veroth in tow. We thought that our power would be sufficient. We were mistaken. I have been in the darkest house for a long time.
And yet, you still let me find out like this? From the house? What I am, who I am, what I am?
I didn't know how right it would be to tell you. I didn't know what you would do when you found out who Nathaniel and I had to sacrifice to make you who you are.
Nathaniel? From the Gray?
Yes.
Nathaniel was my... What is...
I asked him to look out for you, to watch over you. He assured... Actually, I realize as I say that, I have to retcon that. She doesn't remember who Nathaniel is. So she said, there was a sense that I knew for some time that you were protected, that you were watched and guarded over.
How do you know? Maybe that's just another fake memory from my fake family.
Maree puts a hand on Kiri's shoulder and says, Allegra, I don't want to presume anything. I know you're tired and you want to rest. Do you want to be alone right now? You were in the darkest house for a long time.
And I think that she regards both of you. And I think looks to, the rest of you behind Kiri and Maree and says, if you have anything to ask, you might as well ask it now.
Are you okay? I'm asking, are you okay? If I send you up into a dark room by yourself, is that what you want?
I'm never.
Because I will give you company as best I can.
Maree, I'm never going to be okay. I don't think I'll ever be able to sleep in a dark room ever again.
Good.
Kiri.
Get out. She shrugs Maurice's hand off. I want her gone.
And
you realize you're talking to a hero.
Get out, get out, get out, all of you. And I think Kiri is like backing up. She's like looking for a door.
All right. And she turns on her heel and she makes her way past all of you.
Maree goes with her, but doesn't say anything.
Kiri, there is if you catch Kiri's eye briefly as you do that, you catch a glint of betrayal.
And there is one thing you realize that I think when she is out of eyeshot of you, Kiri, which is she left her grimoire in the kitchen.
I think Kiri is naturally just sort of looking for a place to be. She's not used to, I think, this feeling, whatever it is, this sort of destabilization, this sort of contraindication of everything she's ever believed to be true. And I mean, if the kitchen is sort of the nearest door, Kiri will go through that.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I think that, I mean, I don't know, Gav's exchanging a look with Okris, like.
Yeah, Okris is very stony-faced, I think, is just... seems to be having a lot, either having no feelings or a fuck ton of feelings about this, and it is very difficult to tell which.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could have been handled better. Maybe.
Well, Parthos is still here.
Yeah, he's regarding all of you and he says, and I thought I had family issues. Please, you have dealt with a great deal of adversity. I don't need to touch the web to know that. Make yourselves at home. Avail yourselves of the facilities, the food, what have you, in this place. It is at your disposal. When you are ready, we can discuss what happens next. And he nods, and I think we'll give you guys back the space.
Do true spiders keep books?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, if you want to, you can certainly go looking for books in this place.
I haven't eaten in like a really long time.
Okay.
Do you eat
like-
books anymore? You don't have to, do
I
you?
think the body needs it.
But the body was gone. That was Kesh.
I was about to narrate my guy, my friend. You find that you cannot derive sustenance from books if you go and hunt that out.
Oh,
Okay, but please imagine, just for a moment, this very pissed off, battered looking creature staring intently at a book and kind of shaking it like
Try to get the words out. Yeah.
just trying to like
And then like tearing out a page and going,
I think you do watch in slow motion. Like I don't know who else sees this. Okris is like really just
well, I see it.
Yeah, so Gav just watches Okris pull a book off the shelf. Doesn't really matter what it is. Kind of stares at it, shakes it a little bit, and then like just licks the page and then looks at it and then chucks it across the room.
I will say that the last time you did this, you were dealing with the fact that when Kiri tried to create something that you could eat as a curative, you remember that she put it into the form of a book and you had to eat the pages.
Oh, God damn it.
It's disconcerting. It's basically, it's like waking up and for just a moment realizing you cannot use your hands to eat. Like everything works otherwise. Everything you understand, like you have an eidetic memory, everything that you are used to, but you cannot gain sustenance from books and from literature anymore, from knowledge.
Do I eat food now? Do I have to figure out what kind of food I like?
Yeah.
Fuck.
There's probably some
now
ancient
this is a
cupcakes in that
montage
trench
if
coat.
I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
I think that you open the refrigerator in the kitchen, and every time you open and close it, it is different foods and dream stuffs that you can imagine. And none of it is nearly as sustaining as even the worst dime store Pulp Fiction novel.
You can just say you hate me, Zach.
I'm telling you, this is a body that is breaking down.
Oh, God. Am I gonna... Okay. So, yeah, I think you just watch Okris open this refrigerator, standing at the door, taking a bite out of something, like chewing it, makes a face. Mm-hmm. And I think in this case, it looks like an off-brand snowball. Chucks it across the room, shuts the door, opens it up again, pulls out an entire raw eggplant, takes a bite out of it, chews for a little bit, chucks it across the room. This goes on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And
Straight
then,
up Yoda going through Luke's stuff.
Yeah. And then I think, like, you see Okris probably do this. Like, if somebody decides to just sit there and watch, you see Okris do this, like, 30 times, 35 times. And then eventually is just standing there and very gently places their forehead against the freezer door and, like, just takes a deep breath.
Okay. does anybody else get up to anything before going and resting?
I'd say Maurice will come back and join the group in a little bit, but I'll give everyone else a chance to do stuff.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I want to find out in turns here. Starting, Gabrielle, what are you doing as you're in this place, and you can see what Parthos is, and kind of as you make your way around this dream estate?
I feel like first she's trying. Well, one, she's trying to keep up with. So Kiri's a spell. That's great. A lot of information just kind of got thrown at her, and she's still trying to parse what happened in the darkest house. There's a whole person that's responsible for getting her to the gray that she doesn't remember and may have left behind. There's a bit of guilt that I think is like slow to process, and still trying to wrap her head around who this person was. And the fact that in the letter that we found, he was apparently watching her, and she does not remember this at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's almost like it's as though when you, for instance, we all have those moments when we see something like a memento, or like something that we held on to or had great significance in our childhoods. And when we grip the object, or when a sense memory triggers it, or we just see it, it triggers a flood of memories. And at this moment, as you think about Varoth and that person that you left behind, somebody who you could barely remember their face, because you managed to extract that part out in your egress from the darkest house, something just kind of floods, and you're able to kind of like retain a lot of those memories of who he was. And there are moments where you remember he's the one that taught you how to hold a rifle. He is the one who was always kind of the one to go first into a trench before letting you follow. He would breach it first. And the thing about this on top of it is you saw there are also those moments where you couldn't explain, where it seemed like he cleared out a whole trench of Nazis by himself before letting anybody else in there. People always thought of him as an elite, an amazing soldier, but now you know better. You know why. And if you shed tears, you shed them in memory of your lost mentor and friend. Kiri, what are you doing before we going to, do you try to find rest? What do you do in this moment?
Oh, I mean, I think Kiri she's caught up in sort of this wave of, it's fluctuating sort of anger and lost, like a lost child, like someone who's just had their entire reality destabilized. You said Allegra's grimoire's in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna do a hard thing for Marissa, but I think it feels right. I think when Kiri is alone in the kitchen, just this wave like comes over her, and she just starts shoving stuff off of this counter, cups off of the counter, like clearing everything. And I think she comes across Allegra's grimoire, opens it, flips through it and begins to tear pages out, just throwing them around, throwing the whole book to the ground.
Absolutely. I will say that I think you're reading through, I think you're just barely kind of glancing just for the hate that you have for these pages. And make me an intellect roll. Depending on how well you do, you will see some things.
Okay. I'm not going to add a Bene to this because I think this is just sort of Curie rawly experiencing with whatever faculty she happens to have in this state. And that appears to be a 7.
Okay. On a 7, you are pulling notes out and you recognize words like cataract and injustice. You know things about Adrian, about your father, about the court of Nous. And then you come across what you very clearly see as a spell diagram. That one that reads Veroth's Vorpal Vambrace. That's one thing you spot. But also you spot what looks like there are notes and sketches of Mott, of the Spider Prince, and of Kieran and Okris in here. They are examinations and kind of musings on her companions, which of their abilities are the best targets for using or appropriating briefly, and also potential ways in which their tactics and stratagems can be counteracted in the event that she has to create a countermeasure. There is also the page that she flipped to you two, and it reads in common parlance before it shows your name, Allegra's Grimoire Guardian. What do you do?
I think Curie surveys all this information she's just sort of ripped apart, destroyed on the floor. And I think, for once, she can't find any shred of interest in any of it. It's all names. It's all facts. It could have happened to someone else. And I think she sort of slowly sinks to the floor and then realizes as she sort of hits the bottom and stares unfeelingly forward, she puts her hand to her eye and realizes she's crying. And she didn't realize it.
I think the thing that catches you off guard is almost like if you've ever seen there are these kinds of worms in caves in places like in the caves of New Zealand that are phosphorescent, and as they hang above, there are these silkworms and they create phosphorescent silk, and your tears glow with a soft indigo light, such that when you pull your hands away, the droplets seem to glow in the softly lit light of the kitchen.
And I think in the quiet of the kitchen, Curie holds her hand to her face, just says, "What am I?"
Do you find rest this night?
I think we're gonna say no for 500, Alex.
Very well.
Maurice walks with Allegra, guiding her to a room that used to be, there was a guest room. I'm expecting she says nothing on this walk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she seems to bristle at the fact that you are accompanying her. And she's not saying anything. It's just very clear that she feels this really terrible mix of gratitude and resentment.
Right before he gets to the door, he says, I meant what I said, by the way. I do consider you a war hero.
If I really were a hero, do you think that I would have ever let any of it get this far?
Yeah, I'm not him.
And I think she kind of like, she turns and regards you. No. We're all something different from what we used to be.
Do you still want to win?
Always.
Can I count on you?
Let's reunite the cataract. Let's figure out what your next move is.
Let's reunite, and he puts out his hand, the Knights of the Name.
You know I never subscribed to that.
First time for everything. Let's meet for real. My name is Maurice.
And I think I'm going to turn a card. I'm going to see what she does. There's no way to kind of hack this. I don't know if what kind of state she's going to be in. Let's see. Oh my. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
The questing knight, the apprentice of vision, swans, blades, and water, justice, journey, determination, achieving goals. The apprentice of the visions family, the questing knight is a stalwart and focused individual seeking justice, but over the long term. The quest is long and hard. Success, however, comes to the persistent and the determined. This card suggests determination is needed for success, but it indicates that such success is within one's grasp, particularly if such a turn of events is just and right. It can also mean that success, still likely, comes only at the end of a long journey. Nothing stops the knight and their consecrated steed. No journey too long, no quest too difficult, keeps them from their goal. Marissa, what is Allegra's true name? Her vislae name.
Ooh. That's a great question. I think... I said this a long time ago, many seasons ago. But I did say at one point that Ada Lovelace would come back, and I think Allegra's true name is Ada.
I think that she looks at you, and I think she kind of rolls her eyes, but clasps your forearm. And she says, "My name is Ada von Hollingsworth. And by my name, we will destroy the Vespertine. And we will triumph."
Maurice says, "I'm Xiphos Moonspinner. And I pledge to do the same."
She nods. "Oh, Xiphos. Let's do this." And she...
Sorry.
Sorry,
That's
what?
Marcy's fault. Marcy's fault.
Just say it out loud.
It's really wild when you do that because I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna be like coy in our private group chat, and then when you say it's my fault, and everyone else that's casually listening to us is like, shit.
It's
Say it
all
out
your
loud
fault.
with your whole chest.
Hey.
I just
If I-
like your name a lot.
boldly.
I'm also Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven's Way.
Damn it.
And on that note, we'll
dare
take a
you.
break.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Hole in the World, an actual play set in the Invisible Sun RPG by Monte Cook Games. I am, as always, your GM, Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino. I use he, him pronouns, and we're about to get back into the thick of things. So we've been having a bit of an interlude between the next episode and our exodus from the Darkest House, and we're going to pick up right where we left off. Which is, I am going to put on a little bit of music. Hopefully it works. But while I do that, I believe, Maurice, you said you were trying to find Kiri in the kitchen.
Yeah, after leaving Allegra, I think Maurice expected to come back and find everybody where he left them. What does he see in the kitchen? Maybe that's a question from Marissa. Is Kiri still there?
I think she might not be. I think she might, but I think what you do find in the kitchen is the detritus of what just happened. So I think it's like you're stumbling upon the crime scene of Kiri's emotional outburst.
Is the book still there?
Oh yes, I think she that is exactly as she left it.
So I think Maurice I think he just kind of takes in the whole scene for a moment, and assuming that no one else is there, he clears the teacups off the counter and it's very slowly and methodically picking up. And I think he finds the book. Maybe if there's any pages that were ripped cleanly, he might try and place them back where they go. And we'll maybe move this book after he's cleaned everything up to like maybe a kind of a kitchen table and begin packing a pipe and we'll use his rapid read ability to kind of go through this book.
Okay. So there's a couple things that in this rapid read that you find, there are scattered notes that have been destroyed. A lot of them are notes about the cataract. There are a few pages that you catch snippets of that are about the battle, the injustice of the Battle of Upper Taverswood, and essentially, all the ways in which, her stratagems could have been better, or in which she felt stymied by having to break off the defense towards the end. Just a lot of, you realize this is a lot of somebody trying to kind of once again trying to rewrite the history in such a way that failure was impossible.
Can I use both my knowledge and memory of what the Spider Prince knew and my seed of unimpeachable truth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Who was right?
I think in this case, as you read this, I think that there are things that could have been done to extend the defense, but it would have very quickly become a very Pyrrhic cost. I think there's kind of like degrees of rightness and wrongness here. And it's the rightness and wrongness comes by as, how many lives it's the trolley problem. How many lives were worth sacrificing to achieve the intended goal? And I think that while Allegra probably didn't need to was willing to, kind of downplay the number of lives that would have been sacrificed, there would have undoubtedly been a lot of collateral damage. So right in a matter of degrees, both ways.
Gonna look at my. I don't know if I have any like cantrips to repair things. No, I don't. I finish reading the book, leave it on the table, come back to it, and hold on to it. Maybe find a way to kind of, and then step outside and light the pipe and look up. What is the sky, such as it is, look like in the blue?
I think that as you it's many different night skies, just strange, almost painter-like landscapes in one moment, utter pitch blackness in the darkest fever dreams of a nightmare blackness, met with an aurora borealis of kind of amazing lights. It varies, and you can feel your godmother quietly looking on and taking everything in.
He sits down in a rocking chair outside and dozes off.
Okay. Kiri, what are you up to?
I think from the kitchen, Kiri would have fled almost in kind of like just sort of an emotional like storm, for lack of a better word, like her maleficent spell, but kind of writ outward. Not really knowing where she was going, she would have gone up, like as far up as this house will let her go, if there's like a tower or I don't know, some sort of thing of that nature. Turret.
Like something out of a storybook, you find one easily enough. What are you doing at the top of this tower?
I think this is sort of like, it's almost like Kiri's having a, for lack of a better corollary, a like Assassin's Creed sync moment, except it's in reverse, like where the sync is actually opening more of your map and like showing you more truth of the world. It's the opposite. It's like she's staring at this kind of large expanse of the blue around her, which is about dreams and about the irreal and about things that like are created. And she's just sort of almost seeing like the architecture and the design of everything around her and how manufactured it is, how everything she's taken for granted as part of her life, as real, as flesh, as blood, as tangible, is just another piece of another fantasy, of another fiction. And she is equal parts all of those things. And I think that's like, she's just sort of processing that.
Maree, it is up here that you find Kiri.
I don't think I think I've fallen straight asleep.
Exactly.
Against okay. Copy.
What do you, I think you find her in this matter. What is the first instinctual thing you say to her?
I was looking for you. You know, I used to hide here when I was little.
Are you sure?
As sure as I can be about anything.
Because you remember it, right? You remember what? The feel of the stone, the view, it all.
No, I remember what I felt.
Which was?
Safe. Sneaky. Like my parents couldn't find me even though they knew exactly where I was.
And you don't think, I don't know, Parthos is a creature of the blue? Are those feelings real? Were the things that created them real? Did any of it
you mean-
ultimately matter to you?
Did he and my mom create the Spider Prince? And did the Spider Prince become me? And did I drink a container of memories mixed with yours to recover the feeling I'm telling you about now? Yeah, I think all that happened.
But, Maurice, your flesh, your blood, you were born, you're living. That's also real.
What are flesh and blood? They are aspects of the actuality, a spell sung into life. The fact that you are struggling to see that you're not different from this is it's curious to me. The insight that I have, the sympathy that I feel with you, the parts that I have of you in me now doesn't help me understand what you're feeling now. I don't know, actually, what you're feeling now. You're just asking me if I'm real. Do you not feel real?
It's in this moment that I think as you turn to kind of consider this question, when you look back, it's not Maurice sitting with you anymore. It's Gabrielle. But it feels that this transition is wholly natural. It feels inevitable to you. This kind of shift in perspective, and you feel compelled to answer the question.
Wouldn't it make a difference to you if you were woven instead of born?
Zach, I have a question. Is it really me, or am I a projection of sort of Maurice's intent in this dream sequence?
Play as if it's really you.
All I know is that I was born in an illusion. Everything about me is fake. Every memory that I ever had. Not real. But am I real? Yeah, I could give you a council of rabbis that would argue about it for at least 2 years, and there still would be no answer. So I think what you're looking for is beyond what any of us are going to be able to answer.
But you belong here
No,
in
I
this
don't.
world?
Not really. I belong to a mother that can walk through multiple suns, and on my father's side, from a half-world that no longer exists. So your guess is as good as mine, Curie. What's more real?
What do you think?
Do you want something? Is there something that you want? Because I know that the answer is yes, you do. I know that you have petty grievances. I know you've been mad at me for months now because I took the seed that you really, really wanted. And I think that a metaphysical, perfect being would be above such petty concerns. And I can say definitively that you have never been above pettiness. So maybe that means you're alive.
You're wrong, Gav.
As you look and declare that Gabrielle is wrong, it is not Gabrielle that is staring back at you. It's Twig. Twig, you're wrong.
Let's interrogate that. I'll be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to you. I'm not entirely sure why I'm supposed to be here, but I'm probably wrong. You're probably right about that.
You would say that, wouldn't you? After I did everything I did, after I found you in the forest and it all meant nothing. Turned into Okris again. Got rid of Kesh, figured that out. And still, you're nowhere to be found. It's Okris still. Where's all this creating you talk about? Where's all this flying out of the cage? Where's all this see, expand your horizons, Kiri?
You know, sometimes things are more complex than what you can see on the surface. I've been busy.
Busy with what?
Stuff and things.
How descriptive.
Well, you're the one that knows the words, not me. Has Okris told you that we can't eat anymore?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
if I could be surprised anymore, if it wasn't a manufactured feeling like everything else about me.
why do you say it like that?
Because it's not real. None of this is. Allegra made it.
What do you think I am?
Some sort of, I don't know, demon thing, spirit of creation bound to a vampire body.
Nah,
So
that's
much more.
Okris.
But you're about newness, things coming into being. That's your role in the cycle, right? That's why the destruction has to outweigh, has to counterbalance their whole destructive impulse. You exist in symbiosis, but you exist.
Symbiosis presumes that we both benefit from the arrangement.
Don't you?
No. You're smart. I think you could have figured that out by now. We're not allies. We're not friends. We're not family. We're just opposite forces in an engine.
But you have a relation. Even a force diagram has constituent components that have to balance each other to make it go, to make the world work. Isn't that what you do?
No.
Okris, you are forced to consider this.
Fuck me. No. I do what I was created to do.
So you're saying that that's what I should be? I should be the thing Allegra made.
No.
Then what?
You don't have the limits that we do. You're a whole person.
I'm not a person, it turns out.
You know, I don't often get offended, but the implication that I am less real by proxy of your surreality is a little bit offensive.
You're not the same as me.
No.
You weren't born out of equations. You weren't made or pulled from some sort of fabric of reality into being, were you?
We were made.
By whom? By what?
And I think rather than Okris answering you, Arden, or Arwen answers you. In part by me.
You see, if the darkest house is true, is right about all of this, then you're the only real thing about me. Because you did exist.
I do exist. A part
No,
of
you
me.
did.
No, I'm still around. At least in what you carry with you.
You didn't consent to it. She did this to you.
No.
You said so in the darkest house. She did this to you. I did this to you.
She did this to me, yes. You didn't have a choice. The darkest house twisted me, and it twisted Ardeno. You were able to burn enough of that away that we saw through clear eyes again, but not before we couldn't tell you how we felt. We are real still. Those pieces of us live on. In memory, if not in actual soul shards. And I think the time I've spent being your inner voice, I've gotten to see that it's less that I'm the spine or the whole of you or most of you. It feels more like my soul is the catalyst. Does that make sense?
I suppose in theory. But in reality, if you're my inner voice, then I am nothing.
And you consider this, and I think you look down and you feel a gentle hand on your cheek as Zaleska raises your face to look back to her. Nothing. My child, you are so beautiful. You supersede so much of what we Vances pretend to do. Or try to do, I should say. I tried to be the best teacher, the best mentor I could. My only regret was I only had one moment left, at least this shard did, to see how perfect you were. You are the summation, in a way, of the hopes of so many Vances. Those who wish to be companions to spells, to dress ourselves in them, and to form a symbiosis. Don't ever say that you are nothing. You are so much more than that.
But everything about me is made up. And blobs of magic don't save the world.
Curiel von Hollingsworth. The world is a spell. It's all magic. What more could save the world than magic itself? Or, better yet, where the two worlds meet.
But if that's true, then what am I? Have I been around a long time? Am I evil? What am I for? What am I supposed to do?
You feel Zaleska pass behind you, and as she does, you hear the flapping of wings, of feathers, and the light brush of air on your skin as the dream of Vislae towers over you and places her hands, blue, deep as sapphire, onto your shoulders and says, "The thing that I asked you to do, to save them, to save everyone."
I think Kiri holds up her hand where there's the wound or the injury that she has, and it still has some blood on it. It's blood.
Yes. Because you are more than the sum of your parts.
And why do you care? You're the dream of Vislae.
Somewhere in the actuality, my real self is speaking the world into being. I am halfway through the spell, somewhere in the middle. All I can do is wish my intent into the world. I am that intent, and I am as real, as concrete in this place.
And so you want me to what? Fix it? Save them?
Reese speaks in this moment. All you can do is wish your intent on the world.
You see Yadavastra now kind of wheeling up from where Maurice had been. So what is your intent?
Don't think that matters if I don't exist, does it?
Who speaks next?
You know, I feel like we keep dancing around that point, and I really, 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 really hate giving Okris a single ounce of credit. Truly a tremendous buzzkill. But have you considered that your concept of reality is being constrained by the idea that you need to have come from somewhere to do something?
But otherwise I'm a force.
Imagine if any of the spells that you talk to could hear you right now. Disgraceful.
Kind of offensive. I'm not gonna lie. Again, really hate giving anything to that fucking person, but... And I'm stuck with it in my head.
All I'm saying is, who cares?
The lake doesn't care who threw the stone, Kiri. It just cares that it impacted it.
But what if you weren't the stone at all, but you were the water? Then what?
So be changed.
You get splashed. I don't know, dude. What do you want?
You don't understand. None of you. You all exist. You were all born. Your memories are
Alive.
your own.
Technically not born. We know we both had our memories taken from us. We know that people remember us from when we were people. I'm going to cycle back around to that. It's a little rude.
I'm gonna +1 to what Gabrielle said. So what?
So what?
You're not real. You're not real. Doesn't that fill you with like incredible sense of freedom?
And
you can wish your intent on the world. If that's to disappear because you're not real, I'll be real sad. I don't think that's what you want.
But if I'm not real, then I'm all of your job to manage
I don't manage anyone.
No, I have conversations with my friends, though.
How can I be your friend if I don't exist?
And that is
Clearly, then you do.
that is when you see Orod's sacrifice, this Omega spell that looks at you. Maybe it's that you're something new. So be something new.
But how can I be something new if I don't know what I was, where I came from, who made me what I am, what I'm supposed to be? That's what memories are for, right? That's why I have all these fake memories of my fake family. It was all to make me someone and something and give me purpose and direction.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do without it?
Everything that I had in my childhood was crafted for whatever battle we're about to face. Am I not real?
Gav, you think all of my, I don't know, animosity, resentment was about the seed? I watched you reconnect with your parents back in the Silver. It was just like watching something I can never be a part of.
You might have an opportunity. The person who made you, your sister, is here.
She's not my sister.
She's someone.
I don't have a sister.
You have a maker? Which would you prefer? There's still parts of you in an undeniable way.
Sometimes the lies are just as important. They do make you who you are. She is your sister. I feel the parts of you that I have. I feel Kiri's frustration and annoyance at having an older sister. That's real.
But it was created.
Yes, I made you as perfect as I could. You see Allegra kind of wander into your field of vision. That does not make you lesser.
Then why give me all these lies?
What option did I have as the war barreled into us? As we lost memories of everything that had transpired, everything that we had sacrificed.
I used to think you had all the answers, you know, but I had so much to learn from you. And now what? You're waltzing in here, the hypocrite, to tell me, behave, be what I made you to be.
I am telling you, in no uncertain terms, that you have superseded whatever I possibly could have imagined you would be. I would hope that that would give you some measure of self-confidence.
And what am I supposed to do with it?
That's a question I struggle with every day.
Everyone does. It's called being alive.
Gotcha.
And I think that is the point where, Kiri, you once again find yourself alone on the tower.
And I think, almost to herself, she recites a story. When I was 5, I cast my first spell, and it welcomed me. And I couldn't I almost couldn't believe I did it the first time it happened. But there was this warmth and this glow. It changed things. It changed the world around it. It affected reality. And the next morning, I showed Allegra. And the smile that crossed her face was the biggest I'd ever seen. She hid it. She thought I didn't see it. She pretended to be indifferent and jealous. Like it didn't matter, but I think I had a sister then. And I think I cast a spell, whatever else I may be.
And Kiriel von Hollingsworth, where do you wake up?
I think she falls asleep at the top of the tower. And when she wakes up, somewhere from something, there's the sound of bells.
So, all of you awaken from a dream in which all of you shared a conversation about the nature of yourselves and about reality. And the manor of the moon spinners lays open for all of you as you regain all of your rests.
Right. These haven't been cleared for months.
I know. Will that also clear just my damage? I did not take an injury or a wound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just
It'll
making
clear
sure.
your damage.
It's been a
Yeah,
minute
yeah.
since I've had damage.
It's just all
Does that
pools?
clear everything?
I think it can clear. If a 10-minute rest can clear a wound or an anguish, and if a 1 hour rest can heal a wound or an anguish, I think a full rest would probably do it, but I don't recall.
Yeah, that I
We
will
can
say that
refresh all pools.
you will refresh all
Yes.
pools and you will restore all of your damage and your mental and physical health.
Yay.
Well,
I see what's really important.
I mean, that was basically group therapy. So I think all the
Speedrun
anguish
edition.
gets to be.
So we just speed ran you through therapy.
I just called you racist a bunch. I didn't even help. Twig did not listen to you. B, mostly whined about agreeing with Okris that what you're saying was stupid and racist.
All Troy did was go, wow.
All I said was like, why does it matter?
I can't believe nobody. I was waiting for somebody who would actually say the line to drop the line, I think, therefore I am.
Oh.
Come on.
But I would. Hey, look at me.
my
I
character,
know,
my character,
You
I know who my
can't pander.
characters
my
are.
characters are too stupid to be clever. I had to let you guys just flail around.
No, I mean, literally, Twig might know, but Okris just wouldn't.
You would
That's-
think after eating all of those books, they'd know something.
Alas.
But they're
Some
not
people
books from the
think, therefore
Grey.
they am, you eat, and therefore you are.
Hey,
Honestly, that's
I-
That's a good
real.
one. That's a good one.
I eat, therefore I am.
I mean, yes, that is very much a Twig motto. No, I like the approach is like, you stupid idiot, you're my friend. There's no way you can annoy me so much if you want.
Yeah, that was where I was going.
That
with
was
it.
the vibe.
I don't know, man. You get jealous over weird shit. You're obviously a person.
Could a fake person annoy me this much? Could a real person do this?
Right. You're not mentally well, therefore, I think you might be alive.
That's the real. Not I think, therefore. It's
You're
not mentally
suffering.
well,
Therefore.
If
you're real.
I'm agonizing trying to figure out whether I exist or not, I think it's Babs. You might be real.
To be real.
Jokes on all of you. I made you do philosophy, so
I didn't. I refuse to participate. Fuck you.
Maurice, as I think you are getting ready, I think everybody is in various states of preparing for the rest of the day. You get a knock at your bedroom door.
I open it.
It's Parthos. Parthos is awaiting you and says, I have every certainty that you are about to make your way back, but I thought I would be remiss if I didn't reacquaint you with some of the grounds here.
Oh, sure. Of course. I thought I'd find you outside last night. Did you quit smoking?
Well, it was a nasty habit, but it wasn't like it was actually going to affect my mortality in any way.
Good for you.
And he takes you outside of the manor. And in this kind of shifting dreamscape, he leads you through tall grasses, through the crunch of the woods, as you know, this manse, this estate kind of seems to metamorphose and shift in that way that dreams often do. But you recognize very clearly, even as they shift in architectural styles, the pens and the enclosures of the dream menageries. I think someone has been waiting for you for some time. And he opens the gate of the dream menagerie.
Maurice tears up a little bit.
And you step inside and past so many cages filled with impossible creatures, animals that defy, physics, description, that exist only within a half-remembered thought. You make your way past all of these different animals, maintained and secured for posterity here, and you encounter one pen that seems central to all of them.
Maurice, I think, takes a key from Parthos and undoes the latch and opens it up and says, I promised, didn't I?
And there is the feeling of something watching you in the heart of this place, a massive form. Can you describe Legend for me?
Legend is a Great Dane, and he comes up to Maurice's shoulder and absolutely tackles him to the ground, and it kind of hurts a little bit. And he's just wrestling, and Legend's kind of nibbling at his neck and licking his face and going, yeah, no, I loved you, I love you.
The teeth the size of a blade, the blade of your hand within this maw, and you are feeling nothing and he's doing loving corn licks.
Yeah. Corn cobs and licks. Yeah.
And you are reunited with your hound.
Real quick, can you pull a card? What did Parthos think of him?
Let's go ahead and pull. Let's see. 1 second. As I prepare to pull this, I am going to say you have now got the Walks with a Beast. I believe they're called Pertinences, yes.
So I am now Maurice Webb, a stalwart empath of the Order of Weavers who turns tales into realities with a beast.
Mm-hmm. You have a new epithet.
I have a new epithet.
And you
I'm not the only one.
What am I, chopped liver?
You have received the compelling voice is the card that I drew. Control, domination, persuasion. The right voice can command an army.
Do you have a read on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The domination or persuasion inherent in compelling voice can be used both by and against the person in question. It can be a warning to beware honeyed words or that someone you trust or interact with is actually being controlled by someone else. Alternatively, it can mean that you must use some persuasion to get what you want or need. An NPC uses influence over another to change a situation. An NPC listens to the PC's words and does as asked, is the joy interpretation of this. So I think that in the way of unimpeachable words, what do you say, either to your father or to legend?
I push Legend off and he's like, all right, come on, just for old time's sake, let him lick you. Let him lick you.
Fine. And I think it's a very strange thing because this kind of diminutive elderly man seems to be able to stand upright even as Legend kind of tries to pull the same move and whoom, tackle Parthos. But part of that is you realize that there's just so much more there than you actually see. But Parthos, the true spider, does get enough licks where he has to close at least a few of his eyes to avoid getting saliva in them.
He hated that dog, but he loved the joy it brought me.
Oh, yeah.
And Maree says, all right, Legend. And says, listen, I didn't think I was going to see you again when we last parted ways, and well, I think there's a risk of the same this time. Will you be here if I'm successful? Can I find you again?
Let me ask you very pointedly, does Legend speak?
Not now. But maybe when he meets Duncan, he might.
You just see him paw at the earth and nod. And just kind of like bow.
Oh, sorry, this is a question that Parthos did.
Oh. Parthos, pardon me. Okay.
Legend's coming with me, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say. Parthos says, if you would need me here, I shall be here.
And you're not part of the conflict anymore? Are you finally retired?
I have absented myself from the Court of True Spiders, yes.
But you could come with me.
He kind of considers this. And I think with that compelling voice card, he says, very well. Just know that while my powers are considerable, even they have limits outside of the seat of my power. But I will do my best to help my son in his hour of need.
Thanks, Dad.
And he nods. So we only have a few minutes left. I think what we can do is, if there are some remaining scenes, what we will do is we will revisit them in our next episode, perhaps as flashbacks. That said, as all of you are in various kind of states of readiness and preparing, I think all of you meet outside of the manor as Parthos has informed all of you. Another guest is arriving. You should make yourselves ready, as I believe that they will be preparing the way for you. And that is when all of you congregate outside of the manse, and striding up into the estate is a walking shadow. that seems to move like a black fog into the manse itself. And then the fog dissipates, and Gabrielle, what does Mott look like now?
I still think very similar. Probably out of everyone that we've seen from the war report, more similar to how we would have seen him then, because he doesn't really have a face that can change. I think he's definitely like garbed out more in like leather armor. I think he's still been, working in the shadows, building up whatever he can for a moment like this. But it's still that inscrutable, like theater mask in place of any kind of human face or head.
And I will say, if you remember, there was at one point when last you saw him, when he looked into the mirror, when you were looking through his eyes, you saw that there was one like eye underneath the mask, a human mask that seemed to be kind of looking back into the mirror, and the other eye hole was vacant. However, the thing that's...
I just assumed that was you tripping me out. I didn't think that was like a real thing.
something that has happened to... Something has happened to Mott in some ways, that ever since breaking the control of Marlowe, parts of himself are beginning to remanifest. And one thing is there is now more skin around that eye. Like there is a face underneath it, but when you look to the rest of the mask, there's no head behind it.
Yeah, there's no discernible body.
And he says to all of you looking, he says, well, fancy meeting all of you here. I would exchange pleasantries, and I'm sure there will be some time on the way over back to Satyrine. But I come with dire news. The oblong chamber has fallen, and Kieran von Mielis is outside of the Reacclimation Center. So, we're going to be moving because it's chaos out there. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session of The Hole in the World. So guys, hope y'all enjoyed this one. This was very fun to GM. So now, without further ado, we're going to leap into shout outs and plugs, starting with Marcy.
I never know what is happening at any given point when this is being aired, so I'm just going to do my standard take care of yourselves in whatever fashion that should be.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying.
100%.
You'll know what to do.
Moving down the line, Bill.
Shout out to my castmates and DM. I always appreciate your camaraderie and flexibility as we tackle the calendar. My plug, as always, is Jeff Stormer, jeffstormer.com, official, unofficial, Olive Garden LARP. Check out Party of One podcast. Check out I'm going to get the name wrong. I think it's a fantasy character generator book. The title is paraphrasing, but type in Jeff Stormer and fantasy character generator. You're going to find his book.
Finally, last but certainly not least, Marissa. Any shout outs or plugs?
Shout out to my fellow castmates and GM for that fabulous episode and group therapy session. As direly as Curiel von Hollingsworth needed it. It was lovely, and thank you for that moment. For my plug, I will say that go buy art. go purchase art from independent artists, from people who are doing great shit on their own and coming up with stuff out of their own brains. Buy books. Buy books from the publisher, in fact. Buy books like from the publisher's website or at least bookshop.org, because last week Simon & Schuster fired a bunch of nonfiction editors based on market conditions. And that is because no one is buying those books. So what's the way to fix that and prevent the onslaught of AI slop and all the stuff that the tech companies are shoving down our throats? It's to actually invest in and purchase the thing that capitalism understands, which is the stuff that matters, the idea-driven stuff, and not just everything else. So that's my plug, I guess, is invest in art, because art will invest in you. Absolutely. And AI won't. It doesn't have any sort of, unlike Curiel von Hollingsworth, it doesn't have thoughts, feelings, or emotions.
And for my own part, I want to have a big shout out now that we are at the back. Now that we are officially out of the Darkest House, I want to give a big shout out to Andrew Krug, who was responsible for the voice of Veroth, who just an absolute wonderful human being, a great player of games. You should check him out in Encounter Party. His work is really great, and I always look forward to see what his next project's going to be, because he's just peachy fucking keen. I, for my own part, will say, hey, fight fascists wherever you can. And then from that point, when you're not doing that, make sure that you take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones and those around you, and make sure that the people that you care about know that you care about them, and you take care of yourself. And most importantly, I hope that the invisible sun shines on and protects you all. Good night. Till next time.